Hello everyone and welcome back to the LeetCode Grind. Today we have 945 minimum increment to make array unique. It says here that we're given an integer array nums, and in one move you can pick an index where the index is within the range of the array, so you can pick any number basically and increment that number by 1. And note that it does say we can increment but not decrement. And we are to return the minimum number of moves to make every value in nums unique. The way we can easily handle the part where we're only allowed increment is by first sorting. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. And then once we have that, let's run through an example. So we're gonna track the number of moves and ultimately return that number of moves. So how exactly are we gonna do that? Let's use this example here. And if we sort this, we get 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 7. The conditions that we'll check for are, the most obvious one being if it's duplicating the previous guy. So we start at the first index or the second number. So if these are the indices, we start at index 1, the second value, and compare it to the previous num. And the conditions we check, first of all, is it duplicating previous num? Okay, so here where we are, so then if we are duplicating the previous num, what do we need to add here? What number of moves do we need to increment such that this no longer duplicates the previous one? Well, in this case, it's easy. We just have to add 1. So our move is 1, and this becomes 2. Okay, that moves to the next guy. Here, once again, we're duplicating the previous one. So this needs to be 3, or at least 3, since this is sorted in ascending order. This needs to be at least 3 such that it no longer duplicates this. So that means it's 1 move, and we can continue on after updating this to 3. Now here's where it gets interesting. Note that, yes, it's still increasing and we can only increment, but now we're not duplicating the previous num, but we're somehow less than the previous num, and this is expected to be increasing. So what we can do here is note that there's another condition that we can check for, which is it less than previous num? So whether it's equal to or less than, that is the condition we're worried about. Okay, it's less than. So how do we make it such that it is increasing and no longer duplicating this guy? Well, basically, it just has to be at least 1 above this. So 1 above this is 4. This is a 2. The difference is 2. So we need to make 2 moves in order to make this a 4. Once we reach here, we see that, okay, once again, this is less than the previous guy. How do we make it such that this is at least 1 beyond this guy? Well, 4 plus 1 is 5. This has to be incremented with 2 moves in order to make this a 5. Then when we hit here, this is no longer duplicating nor less than, so this is valid. And all we do is sum up all these moves, which gives us 6. And that's basically it. So let's give that a go. So we already have our nums sorted. We're going to track our moves. We're starting with the second number. So for I in range from 1 for the second number to the length of the array. We're going to say if the current number is either duplicating or less than the previous number. So if nums of I is less than or equal to nums of I minus 1, then our target for the current value is whatever our previous number was, and then adding 1 to it. Okay? So then the needed moves, or cur moves, let's say, cur moves will be whatever is the target minus where we currently are. So what number of moves do we need to add to our current such that it becomes the target, which is just the previous size with 1 added. Once we have that value, we can say move plus equal cur moves, and then after adding 2 moves, we can actually update the array and say, okay, let me increment myself by this number of moves. And that's pretty much it. Give that a run and submit. And there you have it. This was once again 945 minimum increment to make array unique. Thanks so much. Happy coding, and hope to see you next time.